Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classic slash non-classic. This is episode number 514 and Doubleshot number 424. Two Batman-related trades. The first one is my friend Tivia's favorite series out of DC Rebirth. He frickin' loves this series, and as far as I can tell, he's reviewed every single issue that's come out for this series, including the annual. He loves this series, Superman. I think he likes Teen Titans. He likes Titans, but this one is one of his personal favorites. I think he even owns this trade. And what trade is this? Super Sons, Volume 1, When I Grow Up. Written by Peter J. Tomasi and artwork by Jorge Jimenez. And Alison Borgas. Yep. Now those things like Super Sons. Oh, I got to point out though, the logo. When you take out the name Super Sons, yeah, that's the same exact logo they used for the Superman Batman title that published from 2003 to 2011. Yeah, it's like they just like, okay, this logo was like basically just hanging around like lying in our offices, so let's just put this on the title and put the word Super Sons underneath it, and bam. I mean, it makes sense. The main characters are the sons of both Batman and Superman. You have Damian Wayne, who, by the way, this year is celebrating 12 years of being around. Yeah, and here's something weird, though. 2 years ago, when this character was around for 10 years, as far as I know, they didn't do anything to celebrate this character's anniversary at all. Well, the best thing they could do for him is making the lead of the Teen Titans and his ongoing series. Yeah, he did have one. That published for 13 issues. Yeah, 13 issues. It was one of the DCU titles that published from 2015. That came out right after the events of Convergence. It was written and drawn originally by Patrick Gleason, the artist who had drawn this character on Superman, on Batman and Robin from 2011 to 2015. And of course, he took over. He did the first arc and did a couple more issues after. I think he finished with the title. But yeah. But the last time Patrick Gleason drew this character, was for a couple issues of Superman, which basically serve us back to Pouch's very title. As in the case of John Kent, aka Superboy, this character only made his debut just a few years ago thanks to Convergence. Yeah, Convergence gave birth to this character, and simply put, was later featured in the Superman Lois and Clark 8-issue series, written by Dan Jurgens and drawn by Lee Weeks. I have done a review of that. You can check out my previous reviews of it. And like right after that series, of course, he was also featured briefly in the Final Days Superman story, which is a really good story, despite the fact that it's pretty much been ignored. Yeah, the finale has been ignored thanks to the events of Superman Reborn. Yep. And besides this series, John is also featured in Superman and Action Comics. Yep, this is actually one of 3 titles he's featured in on a regular basis, though he skipped some issues. Oh, here's something really weird, though. Whenever Tomasi's not writing Superman, like there was 4 issues Tomasi didn't write recently for Superman, and John was nowhere in the issue at all. But generally put, John's featured in, for this current volume of Superman, pretty much like every single issue so far. In the case of Action Comics, he's featured for almost, I'd say, most of the entire run by Dan Jurgens because, well, he created the character, so why not keep the character around? Damian, on the meanwhile, this is actually one of 2 titles he's featured on a regular basis. The other, of course, is Teen Titans, which is frequently referenced in here as well. Now, the story for this one is that there are 2 stories in. One is a 4-part, which these 2 have their first official case when they take on Kid Amazo, which basically, this is kind of a leftover from the Amazo story arc from Jeff Johns' Superman. Yeah, that's simply put what this first arc is. It's a leftover. It's pretty much like them stumbling upon a stolen arm. And by the way, Lex is in the story. Yeah, Lex appears in the first 4 issues of the series wearing his, well, Superman armor, which he wears constantly. He wore that almost every issue when he popped up in Superman when it was written and drawn by Phil Jimenez. He's also been a regular character in the pages of Action Comics, appearing in just the major stuff. He appeared in the first arc. He appeared in the Man of Steel story. Heck, he recently appeared in Superman, but at least he's still relevant. And heck, he even also recently appeared in Doomsday Clock. Yep. And of course, but what about Batman and Superman? They're not regular characters in the series. They only popped up at least for a few issues, but they only pop up now and again. But they're not the focus of the series. Their sons are. And this is also a series that Lois can appear in. Yep, Lois has appeared in pretty much like most of the series. She's pretty much a supporting character in this title, along with also appearing in Superman and Action Comics. So this is one of 3 titles to feature. In the case of Alfred, who does appear in this series, aside from this title, he appears in Batman, though he hasn't been in Batman in a while, but that's one of the titles he's supposed to appear in. Let's see, what other title did he appear in regularly? Aside from Batman, he hasn't appeared in anything else. There's one line in here that I'm like, really, Peter J. Tomasi? Why the heck would you write this line for, even though this contradicts something that's been established by Scott Snyder? He says, oh, this is, the whole thing with children. Yeah, this is why I choose not to have kids. He does have a kid. He has a fully grown daughter, and she's a supporting character in Batwoman. Yeah. Did Peter J. Tomasi forget the fact that there's Julia Pennyworth, Alfred's daughter? Did he forget her? Apparently, I think he forgot about her because, yeah, that is a line here. He says that, oh, this is why I choose not to have kids, even though he has one. He has a daughter, a smoking hot daughter, mind you. Yeah. Now, I found this at Barnes & Noble. I'm like, okay, I like the fact this title's in trade. But then I saw the price tag. I'm like, really? You're charging this much for it? Like, wow, that's really cheap. Yeah, the regular cover price for this thing is $12.99. Yet a regular DC trade costs either $16.99, $19.99, or even $14.99. But $12.99? That's pretty dirt cheap, especially since look how thin this trade is. Yeah, it's pretty thin. Heck, a normal trade like this will cost probably $16.99. But excuse me. But I think the reason why they actually charge this much for it, because the main characters are kids. Though, and there was a joke in here about, like, when the team is called Robin and Superboy, instead of, like, Superboy Robin. Now, the reason why Robin, he says that the reason why his name is first because he's older, but John says, but I'm taller. Which is also true for with their fathers. I'm not kidding. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed this, but Superman has always been depicted as being taller than Batman by about 2 inches. And I think, as far as I can tell, they're about the same age. But, yeah, I thought that was really cool. They also bring up the fact that John actually does use super breath like once in here. He says he can't fly it because he had developed that power, which is true. Which I'm glad they keep that continuity thing. But I think the whole line of Alfred was saying to choose to have kids, I think that might have been a continuity error. That is my personal guess. I don't know why Tomasi did that for, but that's the only thing I don't like about this thing is that one line that Alfred says. And simply put, the opening arc is just 4 issues, and then issue 5 is just an aftermath issue of the first arc, simply taking place like 1 week after the conclusion of it, like, because what happened the first arc, they were grounded for like a week, and then they kind of like rebelled, and then Superman, Batman, like, okay, we'll accept you two as a team. Though, in case you're wondering, they do have base operations, but they get in the following story arc just before the awesomely well done story that just concluded, the Sons of Tomorrow storyline, which crossed between this title, Superman, and Teen Titans. A really damn good story. I highly recommend it. And what rating do I get this one? I get this one a 9 out of 10. This is just really damn good. I know my friend Tivia I think he gave this a 5 out of 5 because he first do 5 stars ratings. But I give this a 9 out of 10. It's just a really damn good. I'm going to give this actually a 9.5. It's just really good. Of course, Tivia calls this cute, but I just really enjoy this title. The only reason I mainly purchased this is because I'm a Batman fan and I like Damian. That's the reason why. And Damian was the Robin he was the current Robin by the time I started reading DC Comics regular basis. So Tivia, I now have reviewed it. And I own it too. I know he owns it too. Okay? Next up is Nightwing, Volume 4, Blockbuster. That one contains the first 5 issues. This one contains Nightwing Volume 4, issues 22 to 28. Yeah, this is a pretty thick trade containing 7 issues. And there's 2 story arcs in here, believe it or not. Yeah. The first arc takes up issues 22 to 25, and the last arc takes part of 3 issues. The first arc, obviously, Blockbuster, which basically is the debut of the Roland Roland Desmond, the second Blockbuster, and the younger brother of Mark Desmond. They actually mentioned him in here as well. And they also have a gathering of villains in here in one issue, and I'm like, a few of these villains I recognize. Let me show them off here. Though this character here, I think she's from the pages of, I think, Superman or Teen Titans. I don't remember who this villain is, but I've seen this villain pop up in the pages of Superman when Scott Lobdell was writing the title. Here we go. Found it. We have, okay, the character flying in the air, that's Skyhook. He's the one in the middle. We have 3 characters from the pages of Green Arrow. The woman sitting on the ruined stuff here, that's Shadow. Yeah, Shadow is right here. That's Shadow. The guy with the horns, that's Mogog. He last appeared in the pages of Superman and Wonder Woman. He also appeared recently in Supergirl. The guy with the swirls on his face on the left. This is the redesigned Count Vertigo. Yeah, he last appeared also in Green pages of Green Arrow, which is interesting, the fact they threw him in here. And of course, the woman in white, that's China White, which, as far as I know, this is her first post-Flashpoint appearance. And she's a creation of Andy Diggle. Yeah, the guy who the character John Diggle is named after, him and of course his brother. As for the rest of these guys, they do name these guys later on, but yeah, it's great to see this great gathering of, well, mostly put a bunch of B-list villains. Well, Shadow is not a villain per se. As for why she's here, I have no idea. Plus, we have a character from Batman. Tiger Shark! Yep, Tiger Shark. As far as I know, prior to this arc, the last time Tiger Shark showed up in a comic book was probably in the pages of Batman. Yeah, when Scott Snyder was doing the book. Of course, you also have Batman Eternal. Let's see. They show up, they give the names of all the villains. We have Avery Martell. That's the guy with the black mask and the fin on his head. That's him. Skyhook obviously is the guy with wings. Yeah, Skyhook is the guy with wings. This bulky guy right here, let's see if I can find his name here. That is, well, they don't say who he is. I mean, yeah, let's see. Yeah, obviously swirly face, yeah, that's supposed to be Count Vertigo. Yeah, this is the rebirth design to Count Vertigo. Yeah, he recently showed up in the Return of Roy Harper storyline. We also have Underground Men. Let's see, who else? We also have Stretto, who I think is the guy in the guy in white. Yeah, the guy in the white, let's see if I can get the correct thing correct here. Yeah, I think the guy in the white, who's basically got the chalk white skin. Yeah, that's Stretto. The big bulky guy with the tattoos. His name is Snake Pit. Yep. But yeah. Of course, anybody who knows JSA and read Superman and Wonder Woman, yeah, that's Mogog. And he's not a villain. I don't know why they picked him as a villain for, but Shadow in here is a bit of a mystery. As for why she's here, no idea. My guess is Tim Seeley okay, Ben Percy's not doing much with the character, so let's just have her pop up in Nightwing for no reason. She does briefly fight Nightwing, but I don't know if Nightwing knows about Green Arrow's teenage sister, who is 16 years old. Yeah, I don't know, but excuse me. Yeah, but let's open the arc in here. The first 4 issues in here are really damn good. The last 3 issues is called Spiral, which is simply put a follow-up to the Grayson series. Reveal that Minos is alive, even though Huntress killed the guy at the first 8 issues. Let's see, you have Tiger. Yeah, he shows up for the first time since, well, the start of this run. And at the end of this particular arc, Nightwing and Huntress do something that first time since Flashpoint happened, these two did this. What do they do? At the end of issue 28, Nightwing and the Huntress have sex. Yes, they have sex. This apparently isn't building up for over a few years now. So I guess for people who read Grayson, yeah, this is not unexpected. But this is actually the first time these two have done this since the Nightwing Huntress series by Devin Grayson back in the late 1990s. Yeah, if anybody's ever read Nightwing / Huntress, it's a great comic book. It's in two trades. Yeah, they collected in its own standalone trade, and they collect it in the new Nightwing trades that they're releasing right now, which collect they were collecting the second volume of the series. They're pretty much done with Chuck Dixon's run. But when it comes to this is great, and plus, it's funny though they use a name for this, which is the name of an action miniseries, The Battle for Bloodhaven. Yeah, this is also the name of a miniseries that came out in 2006. Yeah, a series written by Jerry Palmiani, Justin Gray, and artwork by, I think it was Dan Jurgens who did the artwork. I'm not really sure. It's a very weird miniseries. It has a few plot holes here and there. Yeah, and there's one point in that particular story where Green Lantern is basically beating the crap out of Major Force with a construct of a refrigerator. I'm not kidding. He does this. If you're tracked down this comic series, check it out. It is really bizarre. And despite the fact the series takes place in Bloodhaven, Nightwing is nowhere in the book. But when it comes to this, I'm glad the fact that Tim Seeley brought in Blockbuster, because this is by far the main villain of the first 93 issues of Nightwing, the second volume for the series. So it's great the fact that Tim Seeley brought this character back. And this guy is in the book for a long... He's not in here for very long, per se. He's in here for a good, I'd say about 15 issues per se. He gets taken out at the end of the next story arc. And plus also it's revealed in here about Minos releasing Raptor, the guy who last showed on the pages of Deathstroke, which I guess since it was announced that Tim Seeley was in the book, I guess, okay, let's do one last story, revisit the first new character that he created for the series, Raptor, an awesome character. Now, this is the second to last trade. It's going to collect Tim Seeley's run for Nightwing. Of course, the next one's probably going to be last. I think next one's going to contain about, I think it's going to be about 5-6 issues. I don't really remember exactly. It's not very long of a storyline. Yeah, I think it's called Hunt for Raptor, I think it is. But, yeah, as for being called this, I'm not very surprised. This was kind of predictable with its name, Blockbuster, because Blockbuster shows up in the storyline. Mm-hmm. But this is great. I'm going to give this also a 9.5 out of 10. This is just really damn good storytelling. And as of right now, I have picked up every single trade that collects this current volume on Nightwing. And this only came out just a little over a week ago. This is very recent. This is brand spanking new trade. Oh, I almost forgot to show off artwork for this. Yeah. One thing I gotta point out about Jorge Jimenez, his artwork is very similar to that of Patrick Gleason. Yeah, it's similar, but not exact. It's just similar to that. And as far as I can tell, Jorge Jimenez is still the artist of the series. I heard originally that Phil Jimenez was going to be the artist of this book, and then when this book came out, it's like Jorge Jimenez is the artist. I'm like, did DC change their mind? And oh yeah, and also point out though, Pierre J. Tomasi was not the original choice to be the writer of the series. Yeah, originally it was going to be somebody else for Super Sons, because yeah, that's what was announced, and then for some reason, I have no idea why this is, they decided to change it last minute to Pierre J. Tomasi. I don't know why though, but it's just a great idea, especially since he has written both these characters already, so why not have a writer who's written both these characters previously in the past write this series? Yeah, have a person who's got experience writing these characters, have him do it instead of the writer they originally chosen. To me personally, I love Pierre J. Tomasi's work, and I think he was a great choice to be the writer of the series. And this series just recently had issue 12 just came out, and the series has had an annual which features the return of the Legion of Super Pets, which I think that might be collected in the second volume of the series, which I think might lead to the Sons of Tomorrow storyline. Right? So that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which will be episode 5. I think it's going to be 514. If it's double shot, well, actually 515. If it's going to be double shot, it'll be 425. Okay? But until I see you in the next episode, bye.